The first subject we will discuss will be the legal protection of creditors. There are two main categories under which debt falls, that of secured debt and that of unsecured debt.
First, we will discuss secured debts, those contracts which are in writing. The most common secured debt is called a mortgage. A mortgage is when a lender will be given a written agreement from the mortgagor to use a property as collateral for a loan. Say Brandon needed $50,000. He would ask for a mortgage based on the fact that his house was worth more than $50,000 and that the house would be used as collateral payment if the money was not paid back. The other type of debt a debtor can owe is called unsecured debt. This type of debt is a lot less protective for the creditor and is usually kept away from more experienced debtors for a number of reasons. The first being that the contract in unsecured debt is oral, and therefore some legal procedures become a lot more difficult. Secondly, unsecured debt is collected last of all debts, layons, and court-ordered payouts. Thirdly, to attempt to collect the debt, the creditor must sue for breach of contract. This is very costly and time-consuming.
Pledges are another type of secured debt. This time the creditor takes temporary possession of the property and returns it when the debt is settled and paid. In this situation, Brandon would give the deed to his house over to the banker who would in turn give Brandon the $50,000, and only when Brandon had paid back the whole loan would he be able to reclaim the deed to his house. Pawn shops are a common place pledges are found. A person brings in an item, secures a loan payment for the item, and then temporarily gives up possession of the item. To recover the item, the person must pay back the value of the item plus interest.
Involuntary liens are claims against the property that gives the creditor the right to sell the property and recover their expenses. These can be created with the debtor's consent.
There are two main types of involuntary liens, the mechanic's lien and the artisan's. They function the same way. If the mechanic has not been paid for building a car, he can sue for the sale of the car to recoup the money he put into it. For an artisan, it would be repairing a watch or something of that sort. Say Brandon had contracted a builder to build his house for $250,000, then after the house was complete he did not have the money to pay the builder. The builder could legally sell the house to get back his money.
Third parties sometimes become involved in protection of creditors and their money. Suretyship and guarantee are the two laws invoking third parties. Suretyship is when a third party is primarily and equally responsible for the debt, and therefore has the same responsibility to pay the creditor as the debtor does. Whereas in a guarantee, the third party is a backup system, only paying the debt if the primary debtor cannot pay the creditor. A common way that debtors pay back their loan is through a wage garnishment. This only happens once the creditor's claim is shown to be legally valid and found fair in a court hearing. A garnishment of wages is a percentage of the debtor's income that goes straight to the creditor. Because of certain legal reforms, only a maximum of 25% can be garnished from a debtor's disposable earnings. Disposable earnings is the amount left over after legally required payments for taxes, Social Security, unemployment insurance, and other lawfully mandatory costs are paid.
Hello, this is Jack Bateman from Cambridge University. The next part of our chapter deals with the flip side of what we just discussed. This section of the chapter deals with legal protections and debtors and credit card users. There are 6 types of laws that protect debtors from unfair practices and situations. Setting minimum interest rates, disclosure of terms, challenging unconscionable contracts, prohibiting abuse in the credit card system, noticing the debt payment to be recorded, and allowing debtors to cancel debts and start over. Usury laws set maximum interest rates. However, normally these laws do not apply to loans of money, although a few states have laws that regulate interest. When a loan or lease occurs, all terms and conditions must have been known in advance clearly by both parties.
Unconscionable contracts or terms, which are terms that are grossly unfair and/or oppressive, can be challenged. The terms do not have to be illegal or violate a statute, just unethical. Normally, this is when a stronger positioned party forces a weaker or handicapped party to sign the contract as it is or not at all.
Hello, pulpit. I'm back. However, these laws are not in place to relieve a person of a bad bargain. A purchase of an item is still required to pay for an overpriced, poor quality, or unneeded good.
Her wallet was stolen. We're talking about her ID, credit cards, all gone.
Yeah, but this Pittsburgh woman was smart. She protected herself ahead of time and called her credit card companies right away. Channel 4 Action News reporter Shannon Perrine tells us why a move by retailers means she still got stung.
Yeah, this one hurts. This woman is a savvy consumer. She did all the right things, and she wants you to know about a major change at American retailers that could interfere with your credit card security. When she noticed her wallet was gone, Nicole jumped into action.
Canceled all the cards. Got a hold of Bank of America, who said that over $2,000 was spent at Best Buy.
At this Best Buy, and the person who used her card waltzed right in, picked out some items, and swiped the card themselves at the checkout. A Best Buy clerk never saw the man was using Nicole's card.
The fact that they didn't ask for ID at all, and it was a man using the card because I saw the surveillance camera, so...
And your credit card says Nicole on it. Your first name is Nicole. Yeah. That's a woman's name.
Yes.
Consumer expert Audrey Gusky says retailers are telling clerks to not even touch customers' credit cards. And that's what Best Buy workers told Nicole.
They do that on purpose so that their cashier has no contact with the card because they want to not be liable. And they said other retailers are starting to do this now, so there's no contact at all.
When the person, the thief who is actually using the credit card, and the employees, the clerks at the store aren't even touching it, you sort of lose that extra sense of security or that extra safety measure.
Gusky says it's still a good idea to not sign your credit card. That way a clerk who does take your card has to ask you for your ID.
What they should have done was ask for ID on a purchase that large, and even looked at the card and just check things out, because I would have assumed that if they saw a man using a woman's credit card, they would have at least asked for ID, maybe seen if our names were the same, last names, whatever, but they didn't do any of that, and it would have saved me a lot of hassle because I could have gotten my license back.
She wants to warn you about this trend.